Namaste. Today, 10th standard, we are going to deal with the lesson The Elixir of Life, written by C.V. Raman. So, I will finish half of the lesson, that is till 8th para of the lesson today. So, main points of the lesson I have written here. Water is elixir of life. Water is real elixir. Nile and Egypt, the instance of fertile and desert. Water is most effective and wonderful liquid on planet. Rain-fed tanks and its importance. Soil erosion, how it is caused and how can we check soil erosion. Water conservation methods. So we begin. Man has through the ages sought in vain for an imaginary elixir of life, the divine Amrita. So, man from ages, from long thousands of ages, he was trying to get the elixir of life which can make him immortal, the divine Amrita, to confer immortality. But the true elixir of life lies near our hands, for it is the commonest of all liquids, plain water. So, for us at the present day, what is elixir of life is nothing but the common liquid we know, that is water. Para number 2. I remember one day standing on the line which separates the Libyan desert from the valley of the Nile in Egypt. On one side was visible a sea of billowing sand without a speck of green or a single living thing anywhere visible on it, while on the other side lay one of the greenest, most fertile, and densely populated areas to be found anywhere on the earth, teeming with life and vegetation. What made this wonderful difference? Why it is the water of river Nile flowing down to the Mediterranean from its sources a couple of thousands of miles away. So, one side there is the author remembers the instance of two places which was very adjacent to each other. On one side there is Libyan desert, on the other side there is Egypt. In the middle there is Nile river which flows. One side no there is no speck of green, there is no living thing, and there is no water. And on the other side, there is the greenest and most fertile and densely populated area. So why is this difference? This is just because the flow of Nile river from the Mediterranean. Third para. Geologists tell us that the entire soil of the Nile Valley is the creation of the river itself. It was brought down as the finest silt in its floodwaters from the highlands of Abyssinia and from remote central Africa, and laid down through the ages in the trough through which the Nile flows into the sea. Egypt, in fact, was made by its river. Its ancient civilization was created and is sustained by the life giving waters which come down year after year with unfailing regularity. So, what has made this difference? As per geologists, tells that due to Nile River, the flow of Nile River, the land of Egypt has made fertile. The Nile River, which comes down from Abyssinia and from Central Africa, while it flows, brings fertile land to Egyptian blanks, that is Nile blanks, and make the land very fertile. So due to the fertility of land, the land is full of civilization, and from ancient time the civilization began in Egypt. It is just because the flow of Nile river in that area. Fourth para, I give this example and could give many others to emphasize that this common substance which we take for granted in our every day-to-day life is the most potent and the most wonderful thing on the face of our earth. So this is only one example author has given. You can give so many examples where you can show that water is the most important substance on this earth. Water is most important substance on this earth. So this is a wonderful substance. It has played a role of vast significance in shaping the course of Earth's history and continues to play leading role in drama of life on the surface of this planet. So this water has played a significant role in shaping the civilization on this earth, and so since so many years water has played significant role in shaping the civilization, shaping the life of the people on the earth, and it is continuing and it will continue for ages again as the source of life on this earth. Fifth para. There is nothing which adds so much to the beauty of countryside as water, be it just a little stream trickling over the rocks or a little pond by wayside where the cattle quench their thirst of an evening. The rain-fed tanks that are so common in South India, alas, often so sadly neglected in their maintenance, are a cheering sight when they are full. They are, of course, shallow, but this is less evident since the water is silt laden and throws the light back, and the bottom does not therefore show up. These tanks play a vital role in South Indian agriculture. Some of these tanks are surprisingly large, and it is beautiful sight to see. The sun rise or set over one of them. Water in a landscape may be compared to the eyes in a human face. It reflects the mood of the hour, being bright and gay when the sun shines, turning to dark and gloomy when the sky is overcast. So here author has said about rain-fed tanks in the countryside, in the village sides. So it may be through the little streams. The beauty of villages can be seen through the little streams which comes from between the rocks, or you can see little ponds in the villages, and you can see lakes in the villages, so that man as well as animals such as cows which can satisfy their thirst. So these rain-fed tanks are very beautiful sight to see. It is very beautiful to see. See, rain tanks that are common in South Indian agriculture. So rain-fed tanks are used basically in South India for agriculture purpose. It is nothing but a storage tank, storage place made to store water. When the rain comes, the water gets stored in that place and it becomes a rain-fed tanks. And when for using agriculture, the agriculturists use this water only. They are of course shallow, but this is less evident. So they are of course shallow. They are not that deep, but you can't make out whether it is deep or not. Why? Why? Because in rain-fed tanks, the water is with the silt, with the mud. The color of the water is equal to the color of the mud. So you can't see how shallow or deep the tank is. So it is it is only because the bottom cannot be seen because of the mud in it. These tanks play a vital role in South Indian agriculture. Some of these tanks are surprisingly large. So some of the tanks are surprisingly large and beautiful sight, and you can see the sun rising and sun setting in this. When the sun rises and sets, we can see the beauty of reflection, and it changes our moods. If it is gloomy, our mood will be dull, and if the place is bright, it just changes and cheers up our mood. Sixth para. One of the most remarkable facts about water is its power to carry silt or finely divided soils in suspension. This is the origin of the characteristic color of the water in rain-fed tanks. This color varies with the nature of the earth in the catchment area and is most vivid immediately after a fresh inflow following rain. Swiftly flowing water can carry fairly large and heavy particles. That is, swiftly flowing water can carry fairly large heavy particles. The finest particles, however, remain floating within the liquid in spite of their greatest density and, of course, extremely small, but their number is also great. Here the author has said about the importance and the structure of the rain-fed tanks. These rain-fed tanks usually covers the water of rain, which was the water which flowed from the land, and while the water was flowing on the land swiftly, it carries silt, it carries mud, and thereby it carries mud with it when it flows. So most of the water is from catchment area. Catchment area is the place where you get the highest of water. That is the plenty of when there is plenty of rainfall in particular area, that place is called catchment area. And this rain-fed tanks also consist the water from the catchment area, usually carries the water from catchment area. So this is a densely liquid. Densely liquid means as it carries mud and silt with it, it becomes densely. The finest particles, however, remain floating. So finest particles remain floating. The water's finest particle will be floating on the water, and though it is of a greater density, and small particles remain under the water of great number. So the author has divided the water into two parts here, that is rain-fed tank water. Set the finest particles which float on the top of the water, and another part is the smallest, extremely small particles which remain under the water, and that is of a great number. Para number 7. The flow of water has undoubtedly played a great part and a beneficent one in geological process, by which the soil on the earth's surface has been formed from the rocks of its crust. The same agency, however, under appropriate conditions, can also play a destructive part and wash away the soil, which is the foundation of all agriculture, and if allowed to proceed unchecked, have the most disastrous effects on the life of the country. The problem of soil erosion is one of the serious import in various countries and especially in many parts of India. The conditions under which it occurs, and the measures by which it can be checked deserve the closest study. So here the author has said about the soil erosion. What? Soil erosion. What is soil erosion? When it occurs. So the flow of water has undoubtedly has played a vital beneficent part in most part of the earth. So what the author is saying, water is usually plays a beneficent part. Beneficent part means it is useful useful on the earth other than destruction. But sometimes what happens, when it flows, the quantity of the water is more and it flows, it can make way for destruction. It may be disastrous, and fertile land can be carried away by the water to some other place, and the fertile agriculture land will remain barren, and the use of soil in that agriculture field may be less, and if allowed to proceed unchecked, have the most disastrous effects on the life of the country. So we have to stop this soil erosion. If it is not stopped, if it is not unchecked, then it may lead to disasters on this country. The problem of soil erosion is one of the serious import in most of the countries. So soil erosion is very common, but most of the countries face it, especially India also faces this soil erosion, and it affects seriously on agriculture. The soil erosion one of the most serious import in various countries and especially in many parts of India. So in India also soil erosion has led to serious problem. The conditions under which it occurs and the measures by which it can be checked deserve the closest study. So we need a study to check this soil erosion. So remaining part I will deal in my next video. Study till para number 7. Find out the difficult words and find what is water, what are the rain-fed tanks, and how the Nile River has made one land a barren land and another land a fertile land. And you have to also study about soil erosion, how the soil erosion occurs, what are the serious consequences of soil erosion. These matters study will meet in my next video. Thank you.